Friends, hello, thank you so much for being here. Listen to me yap about, we're going to talk about SoFi. Big week coming up here for SoFi, but hey, what a week in the market we have seen so far. And once you know it, this Biden administration, they're the gift that keeps on giving. I hate to talk politics. I really do, because this isn't really a politic channel, but stocks and politics do go together quite a bit. And, I think, I think something has happened the past 48 hours where whether you're Republican, Democrat, in the middle, if you are an investor or a realtor or just a human being in the United States that understands what capital gains are, not to mention the other gains they're trying to tax you on that don't even exist yet, you're probably furious like everyone else, including me, so I'm not gonna even go into it. But hey, I think this is the reason I'm mentioning this is because I think this is really gonna affect it. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. I think this is a death warrant for the Biden administration. But obviously, I'm talking about they want to raise capital gains to almost 50% at this point, which is freaking insane. We are in the Roman times and not the good ones. We are at the end, I feel like. So I'm going to shut up about that right now. But hey, let's talk about SoFi. What's going on here? Big week right now with SoFi. We have Q1 earning reports coming up here. So we're expecting them to be good. We're expecting them to more than likely push SoFi into a double-digit number once again with a markup here. These come out the 29th of April, so we are just obviously next week, but we're days away from this happening. And obviously, these next week in general is going to be really big for a lot of the stock market in general, because we've got Nvidia, we've got all these kind of things that are going to be reporting, and we're expecting a lot of these companies to report good earnings. Tesla reported this week, but we knew Tesla was going to be bad. And some other things have been reporting here, but I don't want to talk about every other stock right now. So SoFi, the reason I put on the thumbnail SoFi at $100 this time next year. Do I think that's possible? Anything is possible in the stock market. If you've been in the stock market for any amount of time, you've seen crazy things happen. So. But that's the feeling out there. This is what people are talking about as you watch SoFi here. We're watching a company that obviously everyone is saying it's going to crazy numbers, here soon, very soon. But I don't know that SoFi is going to do much more this year. My hopes and dreams for SoFi, obviously, as a long-term investor, actively a long-term investor in this, is if we could finish out the year at a $10, $15 range, I would be more than happy. I mean, I would be like, this is great. But, I don't know that SoFi is going to see huge numbers, along with a lot of other stocks that are producing good quarterlies, that are producing high revenue, are projected to be very, very debt-free here by next year. I don't know that a lot of them are going to see huge numbers until we see some kind of massive bull run in the market. And right now, we're not going to have a bull run. We're in this long, never-ending story of up and down, very volatile stock market right now, to where rates, inflation, war, a crazy president, wherever all these things are colliding right now, and it's just it's not a good recipe for a bull market. I can't imagine that it's going to happening here anytime soon. But with SoFi, I don't want to give the genesis of what SoFi is. I've talked about SoFi so much, and I think if you know, but SoFi, it does more than just a banking company. Obviously, there's software is beyond of what other banks are doing right now. SoFi is something that you should be looking at as a really long-term investment for the next 5 to 10 years. Where they're going, they're targeting a younger generation of kids that are banking, that are getting loans, that are wanting their finances brought to them differently. And that's really where SoFi is really stepping up to the plate here with that situation. So right now we're having a lot of these analysts too, they're coming out and they're giving their their thoughts on what SoFi price range is going to be here. You know, they're pretty much starting at $10 to $13 here, where they believe SoFi will be here soon enough. So, you know, at $7, I believe SoFi is a steal right now if you're doing this long term. And more than likely next week, this could easily break into a $10 range. We've seen that more than not here with SoFi. And that's when we've had big engagement. We've had big movement on SoFi when we've had these quarterlies. SoFi at this point is famous for moving up to $10 to $11 when it has these quarterlies, and the last quarterlies have been great. So this one should be no different. We are expecting SoFi is firing at all cylinders right now. I mean, it's killing it out there. And one thing you're seeing with SoFi, which I do believe is a really big thing, as silly as it sounds, is that its popularity. You know, there's plenty of companies right now that are producing good quarterlies, that are making crazy revenue, but we're seeing this across the board right now with companies that are on the NASDAQ. They're just not. Their stock's not moving. They're not getting traction, and SoFi is in that range right now too. But SoFi is coming out of it where they're getting talked about a lot more. You know, if I'm scrolling through TikTok, you know, I see people start talking about SoFi. Like, have you heard about this company called SoFi? It's like, yeah, I definitely have. So what we've seen with SoFi here and what the bottom is, I think obviously the bottom right now is this $6 to $7 range, you know, mid $7, $8 range on a good day, good week, but we have not been there in quite a little bit of time as of yet. So going into next week, when SoFi releases these quarterlies, before the quarterly is released, I expect SoFi to run up quite a bit. So if you're short trading, you're probably buying in today, buying in tomorrow. Tomorrow being Friday, the market ending, I expect SoFi. I would imagine SoFi is going to touch $8 here very soon. I think it's going to touch $8 here. And, you know, a lot is riding too on the market doing well into May. With as crazy as this sounds, Tom Lee was just talking about this today. You know, NVIDIA, everyone's looking at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is controlling so much of the market in general right now with what it's doing. You know, a company that's making millions of dollars, you know, within hours and a day. That they are expecting NVIDIA to release good quarterlies here. And if they do, then it will set good manners to go into this next month here in May with how the market's going to react. So, you know, who knows what could happen here, but obviously it's been a rough few weeks here on the market, and I've been back and forth on SoFi, but the past month I have bit the bullet, and I've dropped quite a bit into SoFi, buying in just, you know, right above $7 here. I'm in it for the long run at this point. I'm not going anywhere. I think SoFi is gonna have a Palantir reaction. I remember when Palantir was like $7, $8, and it was there for a long time. And then one day, man, it got away from everybody. And look where it's at right now. Not to mention they're about to have their quarterlies too, and SoFi is about to, Palantir is about to run up. So, this isn't so much a video to like break down who and what SoFi is. I've talked about it so much. People comment. I just want to put this out there. If I don't talk about something in a while, people start leaving nasty comments like, well, I guess you're not into this anymore. It's like, I can't talk about every stock every day. So here I go. So yes, listen, I'm not selling out of SoFi. There is not a chance. Something terrible would have to happen. I think SoFi, if you are a long-term investor, it's something you should definitely look at. You don't see other banks doing what SoFi is doing right now. SoFi is generally going after a broader scale in the banking system, not to mention a younger crowd too. Most of these bank companies that you see, maybe besides like PayPal, but PayPal is different too, which is another great company you should invest in. But you know, SoFi, like I said, goes to the young crowd, but a lot of these other banks, they're really focusing on like retirement. And every time you see their advertisements and their commercials, like it's always older people, like old people. And SoFi is not doing that, which I think is very smart. But you're watching SoFi invest into their future too. They're investing into the generation of now, into what they know is going to be a huge investment into the future, the next, 10 to 15 years, with, kids that are, 20 to 25 right now, when they start buying houses, cars, they need loans, they need things, they need bigger credit cards. So that's what SoFi is really counting on right now with who they're targeting in their, their customer service, who banks with them. So friends, I am going to shut up now. I think I have said enough. I probably should edit out the beginning, but I'm not going to. And hopefully I don't get in trouble with YouTube here. And I wish everyone luck. I really do mean that. It's going to be, next week's going to be big in the market. I expect the market to run hard next week. So much so that next week might be the biggest week in the market, and everything the rest of May going into June might suck. So if you're going to sell out of things, it might be next week, with all these quarterlies of these huge companies being released. Friends, I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.